Hello, I'm Elif and this is a recap for episode 48 of the series One Love, 24 hours after Turkey and before dubbed for TV. Omar, preoccupied with the events of that day involving the company and the altercation with Abdullah, calls him. When Abdullah doesn't answer, Omar goes to his hotel to see him. Abdullah doesn't open the door to his room, so Omar enters with a spare key and is shocked to see his brother lying on the floor. He immediately rushes Abdullah to the hospital and then calls Fatih, informing him that their father has had a stroke. Fatih, deeply scared, says, "If anything happens to my dad, I won't forgive myself." Doa embraces Fatih and tells him, "Now is not the time for these thoughts. You need to be strong. Your dad will be okay," and asks him to inform their brother and mother. When Panber hears the news, all recent events flash before her eyes, and under her breath, she says, "May God have mercy on him." When Abdullah's family arrives at the hospital, the danger has passed, and he is in the intensive care unit, easing everyone's minds. An hour later, when Abdullah regains consciousness and everyone gathers around him, the doctor gives them the necessary advice, and Panber immediately says, "Everything is ready at home. We'll take care of him." Nilay is very happy and recalls yesterday when she went to the company to talk to Omar about work and ended up face to face with Kahan, whom she had told about the matter. Kahan took advantage of the opportunity and deceived Nilay, asking her to invest her money in a digital currency company, and Nilay immediately accepted upon hearing the monthly profit amount. Nilay and Mustafa have taken their son for his monthly checkup with the doctor, and Mustafa insists on getting his blood tested, but the doctor says it's not necessary. And Nilay doesn't allow it either. At night, Omid goes to Abdullah's with several boxes of fruit, and everyone is surprised by his unnecessary extravagance. When Nusama returns, she scolds Omid for his behavior, saying he's trying to prove something to others, and there's no need for this show. Olev, who has learned about Abdullah's illness and couldn't reach out to him, returns to Turkey and goes to her mother's house, where everyone is gathered. She becomes very upset when she learns that Abdullah has returned home and is with his wife. Sonmez says, "Didn't you know you were going to be upset?" Olev, crying, says, "I love someone. They told me it was because of his money. Because Ruzgar is handsome, everyone blamed me. But for the first time in my life, someone believed in me. Others just wanted to use me. Do you think I'm stupid and head over heels? Only he touched my heart." At night, Mustafa becomes anxious and tells Nilay, "They wanted to take blood samples. I didn't let them." Nilay says, "Mustafa, you should tell him the truth. He should hear it from you. He'll find out eventually." Nilay says, "Mustafa is divorcing me. He's kicking me and the kid out." At night, when Abdullah and Panber are alone in the room, Abdullah apologizes to Panber and thanks her for her efforts. Panber says, "You and the kids are my family. I won't turn my back on you in hard times." At that moment, Olev calls Abdullah, but Panber rejects the call and says, "I don't want you talking to that woman in this house." Olev calls Doa with a bad feeling and asks her to give her phone to Abdullah for a few minutes to talk to him. Doa, trembling with fear, does so, and Olev finally hears APU's voice and feels relieved. But the next day, Panber grabs Doa's collar and starts shouting at her. No matter what Abdullah says to Panber, she blames Doa and refuses to listen. When Fatih hears about the situation, he angrily tells Doa, "You hate us so much that you're just seeking revenge. Hurt me, but don't involve my parents. You want a divorce? Fine. Let's separate, and it'll be over. Take Cemre and go." Doa is shocked and can't believe what she's hearing from Fatih. Fatih says, "I'm tired. I can't keep someone who hates me and my family here anymore." Boss Omid tells him that their branch has broken sales records and offers him a high-paying management position. Then he gives Omid an expensive ring to give to Nusama on his behalf. Although Omid finds this offer strange, he can't refuse. At night, during the opening ceremony of the Kızılcık and Ertuğrul Association, everyone is invited. Omar also goes there because of Gorkam's presence at the event, and Kızılcık can't take her eyes off them, and Ertuğrul's eyes are on Kızılcık. At night, when Omid gives the ring to Nusama and tells her that they have taken another big step, Nusama says, "I'm afraid, Omid. I'm afraid our life will fall apart." Omid says, "Everything will change except my love for you." After Kızılcık and Ertuğrul's speeches, Omar congratulates Kızılcık and raises his drink to her health, and everyone drinks. Kızılcık says to Omar, "You've changed. You're drinking alcohol." Omar says, "After the surgery, I buried the old Omar." Kızılcık says, "I hope everything goes well for Omid." Omar and Gorkam leave the ceremony early and go to the club together, dancing and getting closer all night. At night, Mustafa asks Nilay if there's something she wants to tell him. Nilay hesitantly says there's nothing. At night, Doa calls Olev and says everything is falling apart, continuing, I think I've overstepped. I don't think your situation is salvageable either, so it's better to end it. The next morning, Nilay receives divorce papers and asks Mustafa in disbelief, what's this? Everyone is shocked. Mustafa says, my decision is final. It's over. I know the kid isn't mine. Mustafa remembers that after repeated tests, the doctor assured him he couldn't father a child. And said the only way to find out if Abdullah is his child is through a DNA test. Mustafa went to a lawyer and explained everything, saying he had heard Nilay's conversations with her family and was sure. He says he wants the divorce process to be completed soon. The lawyer suggests waiting for the DNA test results, but Mustafa says he can't bear it. He tells Nilay, you couldn't get pregnant all those years. As soon as you saw Doa pregnant, you became pregnant too. You used me to establish your position in this house. I've always supported you, but my brother was right. You're wicked. Nilay angrily says, yeah, the kid isn't yours. Are you satisfied now? Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.